So for this video, me and Stacey are back once again for another book haul. And a lot of these books are going to be books that I acquired in some fashion for my birthday. Because I had my 30th birthday in November, which I'm thrilled about.
Oh, you're thrilled about it, all right.
I'm old, baby.
Yes, you are.
Anyway, we have a lot of books to show y'all. Like I said, a lot of these are gifted to me, and then I acquired a lot of them through various bookstores, and Stacey got a few as well. So
Yes.
We're gonna just go ahead and jump right into it. I don't think I did the clap right, but it's been a while, so I'm keeping it in.
Okay. So to start with, when I first got here, I brought a couple of books that I had read with me for Jake to read. So I'll quickly go over those. So the first one is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. And I thought it was a pretty solid thriller. I hope you enjoy it too.
Hopefully.
And the second one is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. And I also liked this one, but I did not like it as much as His and Hers, which we read for our Thrill, Chill, or Kill in November. But it'll be interesting to see what you think, because it's a retelling of And Then There Were None.
And I didn't love His and Hers as a lot of people did.
Yeah, but you like Agatha Christie a lot, so I suspect you might enjoy that one more.
I will get to it eventually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you think.
And now we're going to jump into some books that were gifted to me. And for these first three books, they were kindly sent to me by my brother and his wife. They're all horror or thriller related. And the first one, I kind of just stumbled upon just on Amazon, and the cover, you'll see it. It's called The Hare or The Har. I don't know how to pronounce it, but look at that freaking cover. It is creepy AF. And it is by David Sodergren, which I'd never heard of. And I know nothing about it other than it just looks pretty freaky. So I'm going to jump into that eventually. And then another one, I think this is more of a thriller horror, called Near the Bone by Christina Henry. I think maybe Sharon has read this, or she wants to read it.
I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see if this one is based loosely around some kind of fairy tale, because I know she has other books that are. Like, I think she has a Peter Pan one.
I think it's like, like somebody either gets like lost in the woods in the winter, or like a cabin in the woods kind of horror story. So
okay,
I'm sure it'll be good. And then another one, which I've heard, I know Sharon does not like this one, I've heard mixed reviews of, is Bunny by Mona Awad. And like I said, I've heard mixed things. Some people love this. Some people really did not like it. And I tend to like horror books that people don't like. So I'm hoping to really enjoy this one. Probably not for you, though.
I have no idea. I guess I'll wait and see how you feel about it, and then maybe decide whether I want to try it or not.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then I also got Jake a few books as part of his birthday gift from me. And this is one that I'm excited to read as well. It's the Boatmore Butcher trilogy by Elle Stevenson. And I read The Goners, which is like the first part of this trilogy, when it was a standalone. Or not a standalone, but when it was like the only title released. That's what I'm trying to say. And I really enjoyed it. And I think you did as well.
I did.
So we are both curious to see what the rest of the trilogy has in store.
Yes.
I also got Jake something from his wish list that I don't really...
Oh.
I'm going to start that over.
No, we're keeping that in.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. I also got Jake something from his wish list that I didn't know too much about. It's called It Haunts the Mind by Nick Roberts. And all I really know is it's a short story collection of horror stuff.
And I read one of his other books, The Exorcist House, which I really liked. Okay. So, and I typically like short horror stories, so I'm probably gonna have a good time with that.
Nice.
And this next one, I'm hoping to get to next year.
Okay. Then the last one I got him is The King's Blood by Daniel Abraham. It's the second book in Dagger and Coin, and you recently just read the first one, and enjoyed it, and decided to continue. So I wanted to make sure you had the second one on hand so that you didn't get too far behind on series, because I know you and I both occasionally have an issue with starting a series, not getting to the sequel in a timely manner, and then ending up having to reread the first book.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is not the case, but it has been a while since I've read the first book.
It hasn't been that long. Has that only been a couple months?
That might be long enough.
Oh no.
I don't know. We'll see. But I thank you very much, baby, for my books.
You're welcome. I hope you like them. I hope I like them too.
Oh boy. And then our mutual friend Sharon, who we've mentioned earlier, she also got me a few books, and she also got me a Nick Roberts book, which we just mentioned. This one's called Anathema, which I believe she's also read, and she really liked this one as well. So, you know, I've read his other book, Exorcist House, so definitely looking forward to that one. And then this one I've actually already read, and I did enjoy it. Schrader's Chord by Scott Leeds. This one's like a horror, supernatural, spooky book that kind of, if you can see, like the skull kind of turns into a record, a vinyl. And it does have a lot of music stuff in here, so I really enjoyed that aspect. I gave this one 4 stars. It was really good. The ending wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars, so I did really like it. So thank you, Sharon. That was a winner. And this next one I know jack shit about. It's called The Plotters. There it is. By Unsu Kim. And that is all I know about it. Do you know anything about it?
I know nothing about it.
I'm sure it says, behind every assassination, there is an anonymous mastermind, a plotter working in the shadows.
Okay.
So,
sounds intriguing.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be good, and I will let Sharon know how I get along with it.
Yeah.
And then I also got a Barnes & Noble card, which, of course, me and Stacey had a lot of fun with. We went to Barnes & Noble the other day, and I got some books that I'm very excited about. The first one is would be a reread. I've already read it, but I don't have a paperback. And that's, of course, Lisa Jewell, The Family Remains, which I've given 5 stars, surprising no one. And I decided to pick that up. And then this one is a sequel to a book that I gave 5 stars this to, a potential top 10 for 2023, as The Housemaid's Secret by, how do you say her name? Frida,
I think.
Frida McFadden.
You'll have to check how to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, I loved The Housemaid. I gave it 5 stars. I've heard the sequel isn't as good, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. And then this one I had never heard of, and I don't think you have either.
Oh, I've heard of it. I just don't remember, like, specifics of who read it and liked it.
Okay, well, I had never heard of it. It's called Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. And it sounds like a pretty cool sci-fi trilogy. No idea when I'll get to it, but it's definitely on my radar now. And then you also picked up some Barnes & Noble books.
I did. I also had fun shopping while we were there. So the first thing I picked up is The Final Strife by Sarah El-Arifi. And mainly I'm interested in this, not only for the dystopian elements, but also because Becca in the books really enjoyed it. And she said something about the pacing being good. So I'm intrigued, not only because of the synopsis, but also because I know the pacing is supposed to be on point.
You're all about pacing.
I am all about pacing. Good pacing will make my reading experience so much better. And I also picked up Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. And I think this is either, it might be YA. It's a fantasy romance that's been on my radar for years as something that was compared loosely to ACOTAR back in the day. And I figured, oh, you know, I'm finally going to pick this up and give this a try. So I'm intrigued to see how I make out with that. And then I also grabbed Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. It's her young adult romance. I have read and enjoyed her adult books, so I am very curious to see what her YA story looks like.
Is it called Check and Mate?
Yes.
Okay.
Check and Mate.
I thought it was just called Checkmate.
No.
No, yeah, you're right.
It's chess related, I know that much.
Yeah. And after we went to Barnes & Noble, we stopped by Second and Charles because I had like $35 in store credit.
And they're right next to each other. They're on the same street, basically.
Yeah, and a book, I normally don't do this, but I basically got it for free. I got a sequel to a first book in a fantasy series that I haven't read yet, but I'm pretty confident I'm going to like it.
I am also interested in the series, so chances are, even if you don't like it, I will probably like it.
Yeah, and it would be Priest of Lies, which is the second book in the Rose Throne. I don't think it's a trilogy.
It's a 4-book series, quartet.
Quartet,
And
okay.
it's War for the Rose Throne, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And it's by Peter McLean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think.
Sure. But anyway, the first book is Priest of Bones. I was supposed to read that this year, but I'll get to it next year. And then if I like it, we have the second book now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
And then this was kind of the big find because we saw this at Barnes & Noble and it was like $60. And I was like, I'm not paying that much for this book. But then half off at Second and Charles, and basically I could just use store credit and get it for free. So I got The Rise of the Dragon by George R.R. Martin. And of course I saw it was basically for free, $30. So yeah, I picked it up, and yeah, I'm going to have to comb through this, and I mainly get these for the pictures because they have really cool illustrations throughout, so I'm gonna have to look at that. So definitely very excited for that.
Does this also complete your George R.R. Martin collection, or is there stuff that you don't have yet?
I'm sure there's stuff that I don't have. I mean, discounting, like, because he's got like 30 Wild Cards books. I only have a couple of those.
Right.
I have I have Song of Ice and Fire up the wazoo.
Well, we have a whole shelf of that.
Yeah, and then I've got basically all of his collections and random novels. So, I mean, it's pretty much complete.
Okay. And then I also saw a couple of books at Second and Charles, and they're for both of us mainly. But Jake has the first 4 in the series and has read, the first 2 now?
Mm-hmm.
And has been enjoying it. And I'm up to book 6. So I grabbed book 5 and 6 in Outlander. So 5, The Fiery Cross, and 6, A Breath of Snow and Ashes.
Both are 1,400-page bricks.
Yes, they are. I think the audio for book 5 is like 55 hours, and book 6 is like 57 hours. So they're long ones.
And before my birthday, we also went shopping at my local used bookstore, Paperbacks Inc. And they had like a cart of books that were like buy 4 get 10, or buy 4 books, get them for $10.
Yeah.
And so I picked out 3, and you got one of them.
Yes.
And a lot of these books, or actually all of these books, I had never heard of, but they're like $2.50 each, so not really much of a risk. One of them is called Whiteout by Sage Walker. I think it's been a while since I bought these, so I don't even remember what they're about, but I think it's like a sci-fi book. Oh yeah, it takes place in Antarctica, and I'm sure stuff happens that the characters don't want to have happen.
Well, there's evidently a whiteout type blizzard at some point.
Some kind of blizzard, locked in, maybe some
locked
weird...
in,
snowed in, whatever, same thing. But yeah, I'll read that eventually. This one I was mainly interested in because George R.R. Martin blurbs it, which that's got to mean something. It blocks... This stupid thing blocks out the title, which I'm going to have to try to rip off. But it's called The Bone Doll's Twin, which is just like a random fantasy from either like the 90s or the early 2000s. It's got pretty good ratings on Goodreads, and it is blurbed by George R. Martin, so...
Is that Lynn Flelling?
It is Lynn Flelling.
Yeah, okay. So I've heard of this author, but not this particular series.
Okay. Have you read anything by her?
No.
Well, I will try it eventually. Not a high priority, but you never know. And then this one is another sci-fi. I think this one might have to do with like deep space, maybe some alien stuff going on. It's called Artemis Awakening by Jane Linskold. Again, yeah, it's like deep space, maybe alien stuff. I'll get to it eventually. Maybe not. Who knows?
Well, hopefully, since you got it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Somebody's wishy-washy today. And then since you couldn't find a 4th one, I ended up picking something out for me to try. And it is Legacies by L.E. Modsit Jr. And this is an author you have read from before, I think, or tried.
I read his first book, The Magic of Recluse, and that is like my least favorite fantasy book that I've ever read. He does this stupid thing where he writes out every onomatopoeia. So, like, if there's a sword battle, cling, clang. If there's horse trotting, like, clippity clop, clippity clop. If there's rain.
I don't think that's going to annoy me to the extent that it annoyed you. So
Well,
I am interested to try it. And the main reason I picked this one is because I randomly opened to a couple passages. And just like the prose and the vibe of the story reminded me a bit of Green Rider. So I'm interested to give it a whirl.
Well, I am never reading that author again.
That's okay.
If you don't like it, we're getting rid of it.
Well, like we said, it's low stakes. It was only a couple dollars, so.
Yeah. And then what was the other one that you picked up at Paperback Sync?
Yeah, so not as part of that deal, but something else I found was Midnight Tides, which is the 5th Malazan or Malazan book, and you had the first 4 in mass market. So when I saw this used for a good deal in good condition, I was like, we might as well get it because I do want to try the series.
I still don't think you're going to like it, but you'll have to try it eventually.
Yeah. I mean, book 5 is a lot of people's favorite too, so I feel like if there's a quitting point in the series, it might be after book 5.
Baby, if you don't like the first book, or like if you don't like the second book, there's no reason to continue.
Oh boy.
Just don't. I really don't think you're gonna like it.
I am intrigued. I feel like I will be mixed only because I feel like I won't love how confused I am as I'm reading, or I'll want more context for things up front so that I will pay more attention to detail. Because I'm somebody, like, when I don't have the context, I'll be busy trying to figure that out and I'll miss details or, like, overlook details. So it'll be interesting to see. It might have to be something I read and discuss with other people as I do who have already read it, or, like, I might have to mildly spoil myself so I'm not as confused or something. I'll figure it out.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And we're going all the way back to what, like late August, early September. It's been a while since I've filmed y'all, but I got some books in Canada from your local used bookstore, Barely Used Books.
Yes.
And I don't think I've hauled these on the channel, so, and there might be more because I was kind of like looking through the shelves like, what the hell did I buy? But these are the 3 that I could like distinctly remember. And then I also left some at your house.
Yes.
That I didn't, because I didn't have a lot of room.
Yeah.
Like, bring back the books.
You did carry on only, so it was only whatever you could fit in your backpack. And I think like one you tried and DNF'd.
Maybe 2 of them.
Maybe 2. I can't remember.
But these 3 definitely for sure. They're all thrillers, or that one might not be a thriller, I don't know. But this one definitely is. She Was the Quiet One by Michelle Campbell. It's a thriller. That's all I know.
That's all you know.
I'm sure it'll be decent. You know, thrillers are always just fun to try. This one I had tried years and years ago, and I quickly DNF'd it. But now I'm curious to see if I would like it a second time around. It's called Our Kind of Cruelty by Arminta Hall.
Do you remember why you DNF'd it the first time?
I think it might have been, you know what? I don't know.
Oh boy.
It's been like years and years. This was like 2018 maybe.
Okay.
So I really don't know why, but I'll give it a second shot and see what it's all about. This one, I don't know if it's a thriller. It might just be just fiction, but it's called The Mars Room by Rachel, oh God, Kushner maybe? Rachel Kushner. This one, it was just a cover by and a title by. I'm very curious to know what The Mars Room is. So
okay.
I will get to that eventually. But yeah, those are some random books that I bought in Canada.
And then the last chunk of books we're going to talk about hauling is just a few things I've hauled digitally that I think everyone will be curious about. The first one is The Narrow Road Between Desires. It's the new King Killer novella by Patrick Rothfuss. And I've actually already read this one, and I gave it a 3.5 star, I think, or maybe a 3.75, somewhere in that range anyway. And I will say I liked it a lot more than the other novella, The Slower Guard of Silent Things. This one actually felt like it had a bit more of an entertaining story to it, unlike the other one where there was literally 8 pages describing
soap.
making soap. Like 8 pages of soap.
I've heard this complaint many times, and
Yes.
it's always funny.
Yeah, seriously. I was bored, to say the least. But no, I really enjoyed Bast's story. I definitely had some critiques, but
what?
But I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then next up, I hauled the ebook of Gold, which is the 5th book in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. And if you can tell, I have the first 4 in paperback, so I didn't want to go ahead and get the hardback, but I did want to read it close to release. So I went ahead and you got me, I think, as a treat, the Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already started that. I'm about 20% in, and so far so good. I will say I did not expect what is happening with Oren's POV. Like, I thought that where the end of book 4 left her, it was going to be a lot more like tense and high stakes right off the bat in book 5, and not so much in her POV. The other POVs, yes, but it's kind of like the opposite of what I expected. But I am enjoying it, and I am very curious to see where it goes. And then my last digital stuff that I'm going to talk about is Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill and the second book of Darkness and Light. So for the Wizards Discord server by like Andrew and Nico's bookish server, we have an event that we like to do in the winter called Make Your Mod Read. And basically we get a list together, all the mods list down and write down like our favorite reads. And I think this year we only did like things we read specifically in 2023. And so we each had favorites, and then we have everybody on the server vote for like each of the mods to read one of the other mods' favorites that they hadn't read yet. And so both of us are voted to read Bound in the Broken, but I'm on book 1 and you're on book 2. So I went ahead and got the audiobooks for both of them. And you are less excited about it than I am.
Yeah, because when I was filling it out, I didn't put together that Bound in the Broken was Ryan Cahill. So everyone voted for that. And I'm just like, I don't want to read this. I didn't like book 1 that much.
I have heard the series gets a lot better in book 2. Like, it's a big quality jump from book 1 to book 2. So it'll be interesting.
I might just cheat and not read it.
You might read like the second highest thing you were voted for?
The second highest was Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Okay.
So I might just do that one instead.
Okay. Well, I do want to read that one as well. And chances are I will continue the Ryan Cahill books. So.
Okay. Okay, that was our... that was our book haul. We had a lot of books to show y'all. And is there any one in particular that you're the most excited for? Maybe Gold?
Ooh, that's tough. Because Outlander has been a favorite series for me for many years, too. So I'm really excited for A Breath of Snow and Ashes.
Okay.
But also Gold.
Yeah.
That's tough. They're both favorite series. They're very different, but both favorites, so.
I have too many books to choose from, but definitely Daniel Abraham, the one you got for me.
Okay. And
then also The Housemaid's Secret, which is the sequel to The Housemaid. I'm definitely excited for that. And then I'm also just excited to have this in my collection.
Yeah. I'm going to peek through it too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me and Stacey's book haul, or Stacey and I's book haul. Proper grammar, right? She was bugging me about that before the intro.
Yeah, where you're like, Stacey and me went to the... no, Stacey and I went to the bookstore.
No, I said me and Stacey.
Whatever. Either way.
I don't care. Do y'all care about grammar and punctuation as much as she does?
Maybe.
Vote down below. Okay, that's our book haul. And what are you guys the most excited for us to read? Let us know down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please go subscribe. And then we also have the Bookish Drummer Discord. And yeah, thank you guys so much and have a fantastic day.
Bye.